Hello everyone, it's me, One Gamer 4 by the video, and today, we're gonna get back to our regular scheduled program. Well, more like the video I was supposed to release Sunday, but then MatPat released a video about the FNAF movie. But anyways, we're gonna be reacting to who should have won, who's that line. I think that's what it is. Yeah, whose line is it? Not gonna lie, this is uncharted territory for me, so I have no idea what I'm gonna be expecting, but you know what? In honor of the MatPat Appreciation Marathon, we're gonna dip our toes into new waters. So you know what? Let's do this. No more wasting time.
Welcome back to Whose Theory Is It Anyway? Now we're going to be playing one of my favorite games, Scenes from a Hat. I'm going to be drawing a suggestion from the hat, and you all are going to have to do a theory pitch on the spot.
Okay.
Okay, your scene is great theories that we will never make. Take it away.
Food theory. How thick can you gargle?
What is the thickest substance that you can gargle?
Game
No.
theory. Best boobs in gaming.
We already did that one, Tom.
How many t-shirts can stop a bullet?
Oh no, don't remind me of that era. Oh god, the cleavage of video game characters.
You know very well that we fully intended to do that episode, Amy.
Film theory. Who won? Whose line is it anyway?
Like, who got the most points?
Yeah, you know, it's a lot of episodes to watch for an episode that's not.
No, I like that. I love that. Guys, we're done here.
Wait, no.
All right. It's just not gonna be the same when MatPat goes. I really do like the nostalgia. And 5 film theories left. Why you gotta remind me? I'm sad.
Film Theory, the show where the evidence isn't made up and the theories do matter. Today, my friends, is a monumental day. Today, we're finally looking at the improv show Whose Line Is It Anyway? With a theory that I've wanted to do for literal years. No joke,
Really?
this episode was actually one of my white whales. An idea that I was kicking around since the start of Film Theory.
Really?
But, no, it never made sense to do because of the amount of work it would take to research for an episode that no one on the internet would care about or click on. I mean, that's just the breaks when you're an online creator. That said, when I decided that my time as the film theorist was going to be coming to a close, I knew this had to be one of those episodes that I went out with. If you somehow don't know about this absolute classic, Whose Line Is It Anyway is an improvisational comedy show where the host asks 4 comedians to go play some games. For us Americans, the host was originally Drew Carey and then later followed up by Aisha Tyler. Well, the 4 comedians are usually Wayne Brady, Colin Mockery, Ryan Stiles, and some rotating guests. Before that, the
Okay.
show actually originated over in the UK where it ran for a whopping 11 years.
11?
I never watched it, so maybe one day Tom can do a follow-up episode on that series. In the games, the comedians are given characters to play or tools to use to make jokes, and they haven't been told anything about it until that very moment. They have to come up with all the jokes on the spot. It is classic improv at its finest.
So your scene is Ryan is a woman giving birth. You okay? You're okay? Yes. Oh my God! Give me my epidural now. Gotta push. Ready? Push.
What?
You're not really a midwife, are you? No, I used to be a used car salesman.
The big thing here, after each game, the host awards points to whomever they want. Sometimes it's deserved, sometimes it's not, sometimes it's just a big old joke, sometimes the points are given to people who didn't even participate.
Normally I give Wayne all the points, but something about the way Greg was tapping his toe.
Each and every time we're reminded that the points don't matter. It is literally the slogan of the show.
Hey, welcome to Whose Line Is It Anyway? The game where everything's made up and the points don't matter.
But what if they did matter? See, friends, despite this very clear mandate...
Alright,
from
so
the show
this
that
is
it's all just for
clearly
fun, and
something
don't think too
interesting,
hard
to say
about
the
it, you know
least.
me, I can't not think too hard about these sorts of things. That is not how I operate. So when someone tells me that the points don't matter in a game that's been running in America for the past 26 years, yeah, my theorist brain hard disagrees. It compels me to dive into that hard data to double check that fact. So after 8 years of wanting to do this episode, I finally sat down and watched all 20 seasons of the show, all to find out if the
20
points did matter, who would
seasons?
the real winner of Whose Line Is It Anyway be? Let me tell you, loyal theorists,
Give me that
despite the
dedication,
watching
MatPat.
the
I'll be able to
Drew
watch
Carey
One
here,
Piece.
he's a liar. The points matter, and they matter a lot, at least to Drew. And the reason why is gonna blow your mind. Draw your name from a hat, my friends. Let's get into the game. So I
Okay.
figured the best way to start this was, well, to just start watching, and then count up the points as we go. And then at the end of every season, we check in, we see who's in the lead and who's straggling. Seems pretty straightforward, right? And most of the time,
Yeah.
it totally was. was. After most of the games, Drew just awards like 1,000 points apiece to all 4 comedians on the show, even if they didn't participate in the game. Easy enough. But you've seen the runtime of this video. Of course, it's not all going to be smooth sailing. Immediately out of the gate in Season 1, I started to run into problems. See, the comedians aren't the only people awarded points after these games.
What?
Sometimes random celebrities or people referenced in the game itself can also be given points, ranging from the NAACP to the Mafia to whoever made Drew Carey's shirt.
The Mafia?
There is no mafia, and I would like to give 1 million points apiece to all our Italian-American independent businessmen friends.
Most of these are one-off jokes and don't impact our totals much at the end of the day, but the biggest beneficiary of these random points has got to be the audience itself. For example, in Season 1, Episode 15, Drew gives 100 points to everyone in the audience sitting behind him.
Hey, I'm going to give 100 points each to the people sitting behind me because they look so perky.
Given that Drew sits to the side of the stage, he doesn't have the entire audience behind him. Instead, looking at wide shots of the studio, in this part of the audience, we can see that there are 5 rows with 9 seats per row, plus an additional 3 people sitting on the top row. So that gives us 48 people, meaning that the audience just got themselves 4,800 points total. Sure, that might seem like a number that you can quickly catch up with, but these numbers climb fast. For example, later in Season 1, Drew Carey gave an audience member named Dennis 1.5 billion points all at once.
What?
All the points you need, buddy. Buy yourself a house.
Just saying, don't count the audience out of this race. So, are we finally ready to get to that?
What do you mean the audience gets to join in?
See, before getting much further into Season 1, I ran into yet another major problem that
Another one?
throughout the entirety of the show. In some cases, both Drew and Aisha can be incredibly vague with the amount of points that they're awarding. A good example of this, in Season 1,
What do you
Episode
mean
20,
they're
Drew says,
vague?
Colin, you get all the points for that one.
He doesn't really give a number here. Because there isn't really a baseline of points given out after every game, I wasn't entirely sure how to count the points in these sorts of situations. So to be as fair as possible, if there isn't an exact or easily calculable quantity of points given, I won't be counting it towards the total. Don't worry, it's not going to make all that much difference in the long run, I promise. Finally,
Okay.
this won't come up until after Season 1. I did want to go ahead and say that sometimes physical items or money are also jokingly given away as prizes.
Money?
From a tube of chapstick to a
I like
piece of
money.
spruce.
Tonight's winner, by the way, gets a lifetime supply of chapstick. That's right. 1 tube of chapstick.
All of these are obviously jokes, and while they're certainly not going to impact the point total, and
Aw.
therefore the overall winner of
You mean
this
the
entire
line-
thing,
the
I
money
hope we
is a
keep track
lie?
of it all so we know
Aw.
exactly what everyone won, points and otherwise, at the end of the episode. Cool? Cool. And so
All
now,
right.
with all the methodology out of the way, we can really get to counting.
No! I keep getting ads for 2K24. Yes, 2K, I bought the game. Why can't March come in faster? I mean, it's like I want March to come in faster, but at the same time I don't. Because pros is that 2K24 is coming out and I might finally get gaming back in the channel and I can play 2K24. And, you know, Kung Fu Panda 4 is also coming out as well. The bad news is MatPat is retiring on that month. So it's like I want March to come, but at the same time I don't want it to come.
Is at the end of the episode. Cool, cool. And so now, with all the methodology out of the way, we can really get to counting. Other than the strange moments we just talked about, the only other weird standout moment of point giving in Season 1 comes in Episode 6, where Drew awards both Ryan and Colin points according to their shoe size.
I'm going to award points in that
Their
game.
shoe size?
Shoe size. Congratulations, Ryan.
Now, as you heard there, it's a bit of a running gag that Ryan has enormous feet and wears size 15 shoes. Right there, that is an easy 15 points to Ryan. However, I couldn't find Colin's shoe size documented anywhere, so to give him the best estimate, we're going to be giving him 12 points, since that's the average shoe size of a man his height, 6 foot 1 inch. At the end of Season 1, that leaves us with these rankings. Coming in first by multiple digits is the audience, with 1,501,008,800 points. In a distant second, we have ourselves Wayne Brady with 2,004,606 points. In third place is Colin Mockery with 1,012,792 points, while Ryan Stiles is all the way down, not at fourth place, but fifth place. It's a paltry 512,295
Oh, that's embarrassing.
and a half points. Yeah, believe it or not, but fourth place actually went to famous musician Louis Armstrong, who got himself 1 million points as a joke.
I'm going to give all the points to Louis Armstrong on that one.
It's a pretty good start for the audience, but are they going to be able to keep it up? Short answer, no. At
What?
least not not through season 2. You see, Colin Mockery actually rockets up to first place with over a
What do you
trillion
mean the
points,
audience got
followed closely by
dethroned?
Ryan Stiles and newcomer Kathy Greenwood, who likewise earned themselves a trillion points, all from the exact same game.
1 trillion points. 1 trillion points. Eat my dust, Regis.
Meanwhile, the audience holds on to 4th place, and Wayne Brady falls all the way down to 5th. So already you can see why calculating this thing is going to be a wild ride. The numbers are just going up and down so fast
I can
every
tell.
single season. And I mean, season 2 didn't even have any points that required me to do a ridiculous amount of math, unlike season 3. In season 3,
Oh,
episode
no.
1, Drew awards the 4 competing comedians, Colin, Ryan, Wayne, and Kathy Greenwood.
I'm gonna give you guys time life points for that. That's right. 1 point a month for the rest of your stinking life.
You know where this is going. It's
No.
difficult to calculate given that none of these comedians have yet died, which I hope they don't. May they live forever. I love them all. You are national treasures. But that
Yes.
also means
We do
theoretically
not-
they're still getting these points to this very day, 23 years after that episode first aired. So for
You
our
mean
purposes
every
here,
single
they
time?
can't
You mean
approximate
every
how much
single
they're getting,
day
though
that
we're not
they're
exactly
walking
sure the
about,
date
they
that
get
the
a
episode was
point?
filmed. We do know that it first
Ah,
aired on
yes.
October 12th,
I always like
2000.
hearing the
Using this as a
alarm
start date, that means
of
that in
me
the present
getting a
day, each
point
of
when I
these
wake up in
comedians
the
would have
morning.
earned 12 points annually for the past 23 years, totaling out to 276 points. But what about the rest of their lives? To get that number, I decided to look at the average life expectancy for men and women, and then compare that to the ages that these comedians were during the time that the episode was aired. The average male life expectancy is 73 years, while the average female life expectancy is 79 years, giving Kathy a little bit of an edge here. But remember, Wayne is actually the youngest of the 4 comedians here by far, being at least a decade younger than any of them. So assuming they all live to their average life expectancy, Colin would wind up with 360 points, Ryan 384, Kathy Greenwood at 492, and Wayne Brady with a whopping 540 points. Was that too much work for such a small number of points? You
Yes.
betcha. The only other noteworthy point additions in season 3 sees the series regulars Ryan, Colin, and Wayne each getting an additional 2 billion points, leaving Colin in 1st place, Ryan in 2nd, and Wayne in 4th. That's right, despite only getting a little over 26,000 points in season 3, that trillion points from the one game keeps Kathy Greenwood on the board at 3rd for almost the entire rest of the run of the show. Let that be a lesson to you, Wayne Brady. That's why you don't skip record days. Finally, though they had themselves a commanding lead at the beginning of the show, the audience has now fallen to 5th place. And now with
Dang,
Housewife
we
going
need to
into
do
its
better,
4th
guys.
season, the points become less and less of a source of jokes. So from here until season 8, the totals don't really shift around all that much. The only real noteworthy occurrence in these seasons comes from season 5, where Ryan's awarded an additional 1,000,000 points.
1,000,000 points to you, buddy.
This, he just barely edges out Colin for 1st place. Funny enough, season 5 also features Colin receiving what Drew describes as
This is the 1,000,000th point we've ever given away. Who's on the
a little bit off in your calculations there, Drew. The 1,000,000th point actually went to the audience back in season 1. Remember that 1.5 billion points given to the audience member Dennis?
1,500 million points for Dennis.
Regardless, this would make for a really fun story, right? Colin and Ryan were the 2 contestants that appeared in every episode alongside Drew, so having them neck and neck makes sense. Well, that would have been the case had it not been for season 8, the final season hosted by Drew, which came along and just ruined it all. Though most of season 8 features rather reserved point spends by Drew, he's incredibly lavish in a single moment early on. In season 8, episode 2, Drew laughs at a joke made by recurring performer Chip Eston and awards him this.
Well, 1,000 points to the 10th power to you.
Now, that might not sound like a lot, but that is 1 with 30 zeros behind it.
Oh,
As in 1, this
no.
one's more for the sake of the editors than for you. 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0,
For real?
0, 0, 0, 0, 0,
You don't have to say that, just tell us the number.
0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. You get the point. Now, to be fair, this isn't the first time that Chip gets himself points in the game. He was actually sitting at a respectable 2,002,042,000 points before this, but it does put him far and away in 1st place from this point forward. Like, so far ahead that there was no way that anyone was going to be able to catch him on the show. And from there, that's basically it. Season 8 was the final season hosted by Drew Carey. So if we just look at the point totals from his run hosting the show, the top 5 point totals from Drew Carey's tenure falls as follows. Chip Eston in 1st place, Ryan Stiles in 2nd, Colin Mockery in 3rd, Kathy Greenwood in 4th, and
Just look at
shocking, I
Chip,
think
you
all
can't
of
even
us,
fit
Wayne
all the
Brady
numbers in there.
5th place. But I wasn't done.
Come on.
Find your purpose.
Shocking, I think all of us, Wayne Brady in 5th place. But I wasn't done. I
Wait,
wanted to
no!
winner from the entire American run of this show. So I also went through all of Aisha Tyler's run after it was revived over on the CW, and it actually wound up being exactly the same. Yeah, though the revival of the show is incredibly funny, the points just aren't used as much as a joke by Tyler during her hosting. So even though she has herself a whopping 12 seasons, the needle doesn't really shift from where it was at the end of Drew Carey's run. So
Dang.
is that it? Does that make Chip Eston the undisputed winner of Whose Line Is It Anyway?
Give him the
comedian who
belt.
only appeared third in 45 episodes total of the entire series. Well, not so fast, my friends. There's more to this story.
What?
A point win that I politely ignored and left to be revealed until this moment for the most drama. All the way back in season 2, episode 16, Drew gives the guest comedian Greg Proops 0 points for the last game that he was in, but to really emphasize that the points don't matter, he then does this.
No points for you. And a billion zillion points for everyone else.
Similarly, in season 10, episode
Everyone
21,
else.
the Tyler Award
Billion, zillion?
Jillion points.
to the series' musical contributors,
Jillion?
Laura Hall and Linda Taylor. So, how much is a zillion and a jillion? Well, we don't actually have a hard number for that. As far as I can find in my research, zillion and jillion, they're not real numbers. They've never actually been quantified as a specific numerical value. Instead, they're more or less the exact same thing. They're slang terms that represent an unfathomably large number. Basically something so big that it completely melts our little human brains. But these are points that were given out, so how are you possibly going to be able to count all that? Thankfully, we here at the Theory
Hell
Channels
no.
have already found a similarly unfathomably large number. 6 years ago, over at our sister location Game Theory, we calculated the number of possible permutations
not
and
the
levels that you
Google-
can make in Super
the
Mario
Mario
Movie.
Plex.
And that number ended up being the terrifyingly large 10 to the power of 12,431. That is a 1 with over 12,000 zeros behind it. A number that's actually larger than the number of atoms in the observable universe. We called it the Mario Plex. Pretty unfathomable, right? And it seems like the perfect stand-in for a zillion and a jillion. But wait, for Ryan, Colin, and Wayne, it gets even crazier when you realize that Drew awarded each of them a billion zillion, making the total number of points awarded here 10 to the 12,440th power. I feel like this one needs a name too.
no,
We can call
it
it
can't
the Who's
be.
Lineplex. I mean, it's a big enough number that it doesn't really matter. Feels kind of like the perfect fit for the show. And so, with all of that now said and done, I can definitively say that the overall winner of Whose Line Is It Anyway is Ryan Stiles, who ends up with a point total of 1,003,019,420,000.
Where's the crazy number?
43.96 points, plus one Whose Lineplex, as well as $1,147.88, a can of posing oil, and one Christmas goose. Rounding out the rest of the top three, we have Colin Mockery in second place with 1,003,018,460.
What is these numbers?
7.46 points, one Whose Lineplex, $1,247.88, another bottle of posing oil, and another Christmas goose. And finally, Wayne Brady comes in third with 5,018,340,955.46, plus one Whose Lineplex worth of points, $1,248.88, one tube of chapstick, one Christmas goose, 7 rubles, 3 pierogies, and 1 mail order bride. Lots of following.
And a pear
So
and a
basically,
pear
both the current
tree.
contestants and contributors on the show round out the top 3 as well as the top 5. And that makes sense, right? I think it does, but as I looked at these numbers, friends, something stuck out to me like a sore thumb. Now that I've sat down and rewatched all these episodes once again, I am now convinced that Drew Carey was lying each and every time he said that the points didn't matter, because they did matter. They mattered a lot to him, and there was no way that Ryan Stiles wasn't going to wind up with the most points simply because he's Drew's favorite contestant on the show. That's right, it was rigged from the very beginning. Ryan Stiles is a Whose Line Nepo baby. In case you were unaware,
What?
Drew Carey and Ryan Stiles have themselves a well-known friendship outside of the Whose Line Is It Anyway universe.
Oh,
Ryan was
no.
a series regular and main character in the Drew Carey Show, well before the whole Whose Line thing started, appearing in hundreds of episodes alongside Drew. And this favoritism rears its head multiple times throughout Whose Line. Some examples, in season 3, episode 27, Drew gives Ryan 500 points simply because he can...
Be seen every Wednesday at 9, 8 Central on the Drew Carey Show.
Doesn't get much clearer than that, does it? Another time, after awarding everyone 1,000 points apiece, Ryan tells Drew that he wants 2,000. Easily swayed, Drew gives Ryan the extra 1,000 before mouthing, "I love you." In season 4, episode 3,
Oh,
Drew
nah.
gives Ryan
You've been-
10 times
They
more
caught you in
points than anyone else
4K.
to make up for being mean to him.
They caught you in 4K. How they caught you mouthing "I love you" and clearly giving your homie more points than anyone else? How they caught you that bad? No. At least be subtle about it.
1,000 points, everybody. 10,000 points to Ryan. I'm sorry I called you free.
And in season 2, episode 18, Drew awards Ryan 1,000 points just because he likes him.
Unbelievable.
Ryan, not given any to Ryan's
At least
partner.
try to put up a fight.
Points just for the shoes.
Honestly, I could go on and on and on, but at this point you get the idea. Drew gave more and more points to Ryan only because of their friendship, rigging the game from the very very start. And perhaps the most interesting part of all of this, despite constantly getting more of these extra points than all the other comedians, Ryan actually won a noticeably fewer number of episodes than all the other series regulars like Colin and Wayne. Colin won 211 episodes, Wayne won 210, Ryan just won 172. That's a pretty big difference there. But
Yeah.
why is the guy with the most points actually winning the fewest number of episodes? Well, because the winner of every episode is the one who gets to replace Drew as the host for the final game of the episode. Well, all the rest have to play one final improv game alongside Drew. Ryan was named the winner of significantly fewer episodes because Drew wanted to play games with his friend. All in all, despite the favoritism shown to Ryan, the fact that the top 5 winners of the show end up being the show's most regular contributors, Ryan, Colin, Wayne, Laura, and Linda, just feels right. You know, right now, it's uncertain if Whose Line is going to
It feels
continue
good.
past its 20th season. And if it does, it's likely not going to be with this same cast. After more than 25 years of acting together, this particular cast feels like it's time to move on, which is fitting and bittersweet. It's actually part of the reason I wanted to do this episode. This is an idea that I've had since I started Film Theory, and as I myself now pass the torch of these channels on to the next generation, it felt like the right time to finally mark this one off the bucket list. Because in the end, the real winner of Whose Line Is It Anyway? It's been us. It's always been us, the viewers. Literal generations of us, as we've gotten to smile and laugh to the point of tears at these incredibly funny people performing at the top of their game. And so to
Aw.
the cast and crew of Whose Line, thank you. Thank you for 3 decades of incredible comedy. It might have all been made up, but it certainly did matter. But hey, that's just a theory. A film theory.
I feel like most likely I'll be doing one last thank you video to MatPat 1C retires. I'm not looking forward for that day, but anyways, that was an interesting video. I will admit that I might try and give it a watch. I don't know. I'll probably think of Whose Line Is It? I'll probably give it a watch. I'm not sure. We'll see about it, but this video did interest me. But anyways, guys, this is going to be the video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure you like the video so I know you guys enjoy. Comment down below what you guys think. Would you want me to watch more abstract videos? Something outside the normity of this the normity of this video? I mean of this channel. And subscribe. We're trying to upload daily. This is 1Gamer54 signing off.